Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Conan. Today, I want to tell you who I think is the most improved player on every single NBA team this season. It's been a big year for growth in the association on basically all fronts. So many guys have stepped into new roles, gotten more opportunities, and have just thrived. It was a great year for improvement, and so I want to talk about all those guys, someone on every single squad. Who would get the MIP award if you're giving it out to every team? And as usual, we're going to go through alphabetically from Atlanta Hawks to Washington Wizards. Timestamps will be down below in the description if you want to find your favorite squad. I'd love to hear if you think I got the pick for your favorite team right, or is there somebody else you think improved more? Leave a like, subscribe if you enjoy, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos, and I'd love to hear what other type of content you'd like to see me make, recapping and wrapping up this regular season as we head into the playoffs. Let's get into the list. First off, for the Atlanta Hawks, I think it's pretty clearly Dyson Daniels. If I had to vote for MIP, he's the guy that I would go with. He has been special this season, racking up deflection, steal stats that we haven't seen since Chris Paul, some of the highest totals of all time. By far leading the league in steals with 3+ a game. He's been way better in terms of his offensive production as well. Career high in points per game. The efficiency is up. His self-creation has been better. I love some of the aggressiveness he's shown on that end. Dyson is just way more of a complete player than he's been at any other point in his career. It's really not even close, and it's been super cool to see him grow into the guy that it felt like he could be alongside Trae Young. He's the perfect backcourt partner, especially if that efficiency continues to rise. And as the Hawks have dealt with a number of key injuries, including losing Jalen Johnson for a lot of the season now, Dyson Daniels has only gotten better and better. He's stepped up more and more. Just an unbelievably special player. He's going to finish top 3 to 5 in DPOY. He's going to be firmly an all-defensive first team, and in my opinion, should just straight up get the most improved player award. For the Boston Celtics, I think it's pretty clearly Peyton Pritchard. He has been the front runner for Sixth Man of the Year basically this entire season, and it's funny to think back a couple of years ago when he basically requested a trade out of Boston, and now he's such a key piece for them. He averages 14+ points per game. He shoots over 40% from 3 on 8 attempts a night. He set the record for most threes off the bench in a season. He is the definition of a microwave scorer, but he's also able to come in and run the offense off the bench with some playmaking. He is able to really step up on the defensive end when they need him to. He is such a critical piece to the Celtics rotation, to them going for this repeat. He's been given more responsibility than ever, and Peyton Pritchard has stepped up in a big way and is probably going to get rewarded with Sixth Man of the Year because of it. For the Brooklyn Nets, it's Cam Johnson. He made himself one of the most talked about names at the deadline for good reason. He's averaging a career high 19 points per game, shooting almost 40% from 3 on 7.2 attempts a night. As one of the lone offensive creators, options in general for this Brooklyn Nets team. They've had guys be injured, including Cam Thomas, who was supposed to be one of their other engines. Dennis Schroeder's playing great to start the season, and then he got dealt pretty quickly. They've cycled through a lot of really young guys, but Cam Johnson has continuously just been really good despite not being in the best environment to succeed, and put up this type of career season on pretty solid efficiency. If Cam ends up getting traded this offseason and is put in a new environment, in a more winning environment, I think people are really going to start to again realize how good he's been this entire season, because it definitely does feel like some of the buzz around him dropped off after he wasn't dealt at the deadline. We'll see if Brooklyn revisits that in the offseason, but for the moment, Cam Johnson's easily been one of the biggest bright spots in Brooklyn throughout this season. For the Hornets, I'm going to go with Moussa Diabate. It's not a flashy pick, but I've loved a lot of the growth he's shown this season in the midst of a very injury-riddled Hornets year, which is kind of just the way it goes for them at this point. Has doubled his points per game from 2.6 to 5.3, has about tripled his rebounds per game up to 6.2 from 2.2 last season, getting almost a block per game, almost a steal per game. The efficiency is up. He's been given more opportunities, and he's thrived in those moments. With Mark Williams dealing with injury and they traded Nick Richards, they've needed someone to step up as a big man, and Diabate's done exactly that. He's kind of found himself a role in the NBA here in Charlotte at 23 years old. I've also liked a lot of what he's brought to the table defensively on a pretty defensive lacking roster. I feel like he's been one of the bigger bright spots throughout this season, especially at that big man position. So yeah, shout out to Moussa Diabate. I think amongst all of the turmoil that's gone on with the Hornets this season, all the injuries, the Mark Williams trade that happened and then got rescinded, I think he's been kind of forgotten, but he's become a really solid big in this league. For the Chicago Bulls, I'd probably say Josh Giddey. He has been really good since the All-Star break. 22.8 points per game, 10.5 boards, 9.2 assists. He's shooting much better from 3. He's overall just become a more efficient player. He's more confident. He had a half-court 3 buzzer beater last night as I'm recording this. Giddey's become a really solid player for Chicago, and this is exactly what they were hoping for when they dealt Alex Caruso over to the Thunder for him, that putting him in this system and giving him more opportunities as that lead guy would kind of unlock his game. And it's not been a super long stretch where he's been playing at this level, but to even see a glimpse of it for around a month at this point is a huge plus. That in and of itself is a massive bright spot for this bowl season as they're heading into this new era. They're rebuilding. They're trying to find who is going to be part of this young core. And honestly, a lot of the season was just figuring out whether or not they should pay Josh Giddey. He's making a strong case for them to go ahead and not only pay him, but make him a featured part of the team for years to come. For the Cavs, I'm going with Ty Jerome. Off the bench this season, he's been one of the most reliable guys in the entire sport and is such an underrated part of why the Cavaliers have been so dominant this season. If you can have a guy come in behind your two all-star, all-NBA level guards in Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, and he's also giving you insane production with 12.2 points per game, 2.5 boards, 3.3 assists on just under 50, 40, 90, that's such an insane luxury, and it's one that the Cavs have. Every time Ty Jerome is asked to step up because Garland or Mitchell are out, especially, it feels like he goes off for 20 points, like 5-6 dimes, and is doing it while basically never missing a shot. I don't think he's missed a floater in his entire life. His ability to operate the pick and roll with those two bigs is amazing. Ty Jerome is just the perfect third guard to have on this team, and I feel like he deserves to be talked about way more when we discuss the Cavs' success. For the Mavericks, I'm gonna go with PJ Washington. I feel like amongst all the chaos with Dallas this season, his improvement has been kind of overlooked, and it's been big. I mean, he's averaging 15 points per game. It's the second highest mark of his career, shooting 37.8% from three. That's the second highest mark of his career as well, and a big improvement off last season when throughout the regular season, he shot just 31.4% from the outside. Unless he was playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, then he shot 1,000,000%. PJ's been really good. I mean, especially stepping up with injuries to Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively. He's been asked to kind of play that big role a lot of nights, and that's led to him averaging a career high 8 boards a game. He's been playing really good defense. PJ, just a really good player, and when the Mavericks finally get guys back on the court next season, I don't know when that'll be because of the Kyrie injury, but if it happens, I think PJ is going to continue to be an integral piece to what they're building, and yeah, just a really good player, having a lot of really good games amidst all the insanity that has been the Maverick season. For the Nuggets, the only choice is Christian Braun. I mean, he's over doubled his points per game from 7.3 to 15.1, shooting a career high 39.6% from three, almost 58% from the field. I swear he has never missed in transition, attacking through contact, finishing up and over a big. He's a nightmare when he gets downhill going to the rim, gives them over 5 boards a night. He's averaging over a steal per game. I was incredibly wrong when I thought that the Nuggets made a mistake letting go KCP because Christian Braun wasn't going to be ready to step up as that starting shooting guard. He has way outplayed KCP this season. He's been way better than I think almost anybody was expecting, and yeah, deserves a lot more discussion for MIP, should firmly be in contention to win the award. For the Pistons, there are a lot of choices, but I've got to go with Malik Beasley. I don't think people are realizing he's having one of the greatest three-point shooting seasons ever. At this moment, he's got the 11th most threes in a season ever with 286, shooting it at 42%, and if he continues on this pace for the rest of the regular season with the Pistons, he's going to finish with 319 and is going to be the only guy not named Steph Curry or James Harden to ever make that many threes in a season, and he's doing that while playing under 30 minutes a night, doing it most of it off the bench. It's legitimately mind-blowing how good he's been from the outside for a team that desperately needed shooting, needed somebody to come in and just help Cade Cunningham space the floor. Malik Beasley's not only been great at that, he has been the perfect definition of that. For the Golden State Warriors, I'm going with Moses Moody. He's been a starter regularly as of late, and is having the best year of his career. A career high 10 points per game. He's shooting a career high 37.2% from the outside, and he's doing so while playing some amazing defense. A very underrated cog in the defensive machine that is Golden State. A big reason why they've turned around their season over the course of this second half of the year since they really brought in Jimmy Butler. Moses Moody has additionally stepped up. He's been super reliable and consistent. Yeah, just love what he brings to the table for this team, and it's cool to see him finally getting more opportunity after it felt like for years he was kind of getting underutilized. For the Rockets, it's so easily Amen Thompson for me. He has become one of the brightest young stars in the entire sport. One of the best young defenders we have, will probably be in all defensive conversations. Career high 14 points per game. I say career high, it's only his second season, but I mean, the efficiency has jumped up, whether it's field goal percentage or three-point percentage. Steals are higher, assists are higher, rebounds are higher, blocks are higher. Everything about Amen Thompson has improved. From last season till now, he forced himself into a starter spot with this roster. They just couldn't keep him out any longer. He's forced his way into more rotational minutes. Anytime he gets the ball, Amen Thompson is going to make good things happen. He is a special talent, and to me, he feels like a pretty clear option to take an all-star level leap next season and become an all all-NBA player after not too many more years. For the Indiana Pacers, I'd probably go with Benedict Mathurin. There are a lot of mouths to feed over there. It's a very deep roster, but I feel like Mathurin has probably shown the most improvement out of anybody. He's having his most efficient season, playing his most minutes per game. He's giving them just over 16 points a night. I love a lot of what he's done in the clutch, especially recently. He's been one of the better clutch players over the past couple of weeks out of anybody in the league. He's been asked to come off the bench. He's been fine with it. He's still put up big numbers. He's a bucket getter. He's going to go out there and give you insane point totals basically anytime that he's let loose and is allowed to just throw up shots. There are issues still with his shot selection and defense at times, but he is such a big spark for this Indiana team, and I don't think he gets enough love for what he brings to the table, especially as someone who's only 22 years old. He is only in his third season, and it feels like if he ever got more opportunity than he's getting right now in Indiana, he could really blossom into an amazing player. For the Clippers, I'm going to go with Zubats. Norman Powell has been great all season, but he's come back down a little bit to earth, while Zubats has just continuously been unbelievable this season. Career high 16.4 points per game, career high 12.5 rebounds per game. He has been a nightmare on the defensive end. I'm shocked he's not getting at least a little bit of love for Defensive Player of the Year, with the Clippers being one of the best units and him being the anchor of that this entire season. He's been a nightmare to go up against, and they finally started to utilize him more. It's not just him catching lobs or putbacks. He's posting up. He's got great touch down there. Zoo is a special big. There are Clippers fans saying he's a top 5 center in the league, and I don't know if I'd go that far, but I do think that he's in the conversation for some of the best bigs in the world at this point. And if I had to pick maybe a most underrated player in the entire league, it might just be Zoo. For the Lakers, I'm going to go with Austin Reaves. He was given a lot more responsibility this season, especially when they trade away D'Angelo Russell. He was asked to run the offense, and he's done a phenomenal job. Basically, the perfect depiction of a third option next to LeBron James and Luka Doncic. The efficiency has dipped a little bit, but it's on way more shot attempts, and that's exactly what I want to see from Reaves, is him being more aggressive. He's done that. He's continued to draw more fouls. He's improving at getting and finishing through contact. He's rebounding better. He's playmaking better than ever for sure. Austin Reaves is just really good, and it feels like whenever they need a big bucket, sure, they could get it from Luka or LeBron, but also Austin Reaves is more often than not also going to be able to create that opportunity. Some people probably still think Reaves is overrated because he's in LA, but no, he's just a really good player. For the Grizzlies, I'm going with Jaren Jackson Jr., who has firmly established himself as an all-NBA level player this season. He's going to be on second or third team, and he's very deserving of that nod. He's averaging just under his career high in points per game, but doing it much more efficiently than we saw last season. The three ball is the best it's ever been. He's shooting one of his highest percentages from the field ever. He's still blocking almost 2 shots per night, being an elite defender. He's much better in terms of self-creation. He's getting his teammates involved. Jaren has become a really reliable offensive player while also giving you that all defensive level production on the other end. Not a lot of guys are doing it on both sides of the basketball the way that Jaren Jackson does. He has been the best player in a team this season that is the 5th seed in the loaded Western Conference while dealing with a ton of injuries. That's a special player. For the Miami Heat, it's got to be Tyler Herro, who just went ahead and kind of perfected his game this season. He became the most efficient version of himself, still this lethal shot creator, but a lot more threes, a lot more layups attacking the basket, less of those kind of tough mid-range shots that he liked to take in the past. And it's led to him, again, being more efficient, making his first All-Star game, which was very well deserved, being in the MIP conversation for a majority of the season. And I feel like he's gotten a little less shine as of late because the Heat have been really bad since trading Jimmy Butler. But if you take a look at the numbers, you take a look at the production, just the way that he has elevated his game consistently for the Heat this season, it's easily the best version of Tyler Herro that we've ever seen. And he's gone from a guy that the Heat would probably just be willing to throw in any trade for a star to someone that I'm sure they don't want to let go of at all costs. For the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm going to go with Ryan Rollins, someone that I don't feel like has been talked about enough this season. The Bucks have shuffled a lot of young guys in and out of their rotation, but someone who stuck a lot recently is Ryan Rollins. In just 13 minutes a night, he's given them 5.5 points, just had a 20-piece tonight as I'm recording this. He's shooting 37% from the outside, and if you like EPM, which a lot of people do, he's ranked in the 93rd percentile in defensive EPM. He has established himself as a really good two-way guard for this Milwaukee team that desperately needs young two-way players. He's been exactly that. He's kind of struggled to find his spot in the league over his first few seasons, whether it was with Golden State or with Washington, but here in Milwaukee, I think Ryan Rollins has really found a spot where he can stick, and he's been one of my favorite stories in the entire league as of late. For the Timberwolves, I've got to go with Anthony Edwards purely because of the three-point shooting. He is someone that I never knew how good of a shooter he would be. It always felt like he would have those hot nights, but then he'd have some rough ones. We're now about 10-ish games left in the season, and he's still shooting just under 40% from three, shooting 10 of them a night. That is such an insane development. I never thought he'd become this this level of a shooter. And like Malik Beasley, he's on pace to finish with the most threes of anybody not named Steph Curry or James Harden in a season. That is completely ridiculous. For the Pelicans, I'm going with Trey Murphy III. Easily the best season of his career, 21.2 points per game. That's your career high. Career high 5.1 boards, 3.5 assists. Still shot 36% from the outside with not a lot of talent around him because, again, Zion was hurt and Ingram was hurt, Herb Jones was hurt, and CJ, DeJounte Murray, everybody was injured, and Trey Murphy still found a way to elevate his game to new heights, to do a lot more with the ball in his hands. I'm excited to see how the reps he went through this season elevate him next year, hopefully with the talent healthier and surrounding him on this Pelicans roster. Yeah, Trey Murphy is just really good. I'm excited to see what he could do next season, and if at some point the Pelicans decide to blow this thing up, I think Trey Murphy is someone who their phones will be ringing off the hook with trade requests for. For the Knicks, I've got to go with Josh Hart. He does literally everything. You want him to dish out dimes, he's getting almost 6 a night. You want him to rebound, he's grabbing almost 10 boards a night. He's racking up a number of triple doubles this season. He's averaging almost 14 points per game, the second highest mark of his career. They're asking him to play 37.7 minutes. They are running him into the ground, and it doesn't matter. He just has relentless energy. He never runs out. Josh Hart is a special Swiss Army knife type of player, the exact type of guy that Tom Thibodeau loves, and I mean, you can see it with the amount of minutes he plays, and especially with Jalen Brunson dealing with injury and the Knicks having some guys in and out of the lineup. Josh Hart has just continuously stepped up and been an Iron Man for this team this season. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, I'm going with Aaron Wiggins, the savior of basketball, who has really elevated his game to be that fourth offensive option that the Thunder were looking for. They came into the season, it was Shea, it was Chet, it was J-Dub. Who else was going to step up? And one of the answers is Aaron Wiggins. He's still shooting really well from the outside, 39%, but shooting a lot more. He's done a lot more in terms of self-creation. He's way more aggressive on and off ball. He's great off cuts. He's able to finish through contact. He's been better defensively this season. Aaron Wiggins does everything. Anytime, Shea, J-Dub, Chet, those guys are resting, he's probably going to go for 25, 30 points. He had a 40-point game this season. Wiggins is an X factor for the Thunder. When they need offensive punch in those especially non-Shea minutes, Aaron Wiggins is someone who's going to step up. He's going to be huge. And I just feel like he still does not get enough love for the way that he produces. Easily one of the most underrated and important role players amongst the top teams in the NBA this season. For the Magic, I'm going to go with Franz Wagner, who I feel like has been their best and most consistent player this season. He just does everything. The definition of a do-it-all front court guy, someone who I feel like would have been an all-star if he didn't deal with injuries this season. Best point per game average of his career. He's averaging more boards than ever, dishing out more dimes, more steals. He's just so good defensively. I feel like really people don't talk about enough how much he locks up on that end. When you take a look at how good the Magic are on that side of the basketball, Franz Wagner is one of the first places I start. I still want to see his three ball get a little bit more consistent, under 30% on the year, but he just does everything else at such an insane level. Not a lot of players that are as well-rounded as Franz Wagner in the entire NBA at this point, never mind guys that are only 23 years old. For the Sixers, I've got to go with Quentin Grimes. I mean, how could I not talk about QG and what he's been doing so far with the Sixers? 22.1 points per game, 5 boards, 4.3 assists, and 1.6 steals since he got to Philly, and it's not like he's just an inefficient shot chucker over there. Sure, he's getting more opportunities than he's ever gotten, but he's shooting 49.4% from the field, 39% from the outside, and playing some really good defense. He's given them some insane outings. Had 46 points with 8 threes against the Houston Rockets. Had 35 points with 5 threes against the Atlanta Hawks. Quentin Grimes has legitimately been unbelievable, and it feels like he's finally going to find a home. I mean, Philly's going to have a hard time paying him, but I imagine they'll try and dish out whatever he's asking for because he's the exact type of guy they need to bring back. They need young, productive role players like a Quentin Grimes, and I feel like he's finally showcasing what he can do with more opportunity after bouncing around a lot of different teams over his first few seasons. For the Phoenix Suns, I'm going to go with Royce O'Neal, who's pretty quietly having a career year at 31 years old. 9.4 points, that's the highest mark of his career. 42.2% from 3, easily his best mark and one of the best marks in the sport. Hit 7 threes tonight against the Timberwolves as I'm recording this video, giving them some really solid defense, playing a couple different positions. Royce has just been great. I mean, he's also been available, 68 games played, which is huge for, this Suns team out of all squads. And yeah, I feel like if the Suns do decide to blow it up this offseason or make major changes, he's going to be highly sought after because, again, career year at the moment. For the Portland Trailblazers, I'm going with Tumuni Kamara, who has quickly become one of my favorite young wings in the sport. He is such a good player. 11 points per game this season, 5.8 rebounds, 2.2 dimes. All those numbers are up. 37% from the outside. That's up a good bit from last season. And he's built off a really good defensive rookie season to now being someone who's firmly in all defensive talks. I think there's a real chance that Tumuni Kamara ends up on an all-defensive team, and I absolutely love that. He's been one of the biggest catalysts for the Blazers' turnaround in the second half of the season. They're not going to make the play-in, but the fact that they even got close is a huge testament to what they're building over there, and he is a player that they're going to keep for a very long time. He's made himself a cornerstone, and that is such a big thing for a guy who was just the 52nd overall pick about a year ago. For the Kings, I'm going to go with Keon Ellis, who's been given a lot of opportunity to thrive under Doug Christie, and that's been super cool. It's given him career numbers across the board in points, field goal percentage, three-point percentage, rebounds, assists, steals, you name it. He's doing the best he ever has in that stat category, just playing better, being a really good connector, especially on the defensive end. He is someone who also, like I mentioned with Tumudi Kamara, is going to be in all defensive conversations and deserves a lot of the credit that he's going to get in those talks. Just a really fun young player at 25 years old, someone the Kings desperately need. They need a guy that can knock down outside shots, that can provide a lot of tenacity and grit on the defensive end, because not a lot of guys do that on this roster, and Keon Ellis brings both those things in spades. For the Spurs, I'm going with Victor Wembanyama. It might be a cop-out, but I mean, I have to. I think he's pretty clearly the most improved player on this team. 24 points per game, up in three-point percentage, field goal percentage, and that includes taking way more threes. I remember at the beginning of the season when everybody was complaining about it, and then he just turned into a sniper and was hitting some absolutely ridiculous three-point totals for somebody of his size. He was way better moving with the ball. He was way better defensively. He was going to firmly win DPOY. He was going to be a conversation for all NBA first team as a second-year player if deep vein thrombosis didn't end up costing him a majority of this season and preventing him from reaching the 65 games played requirement to win those awards, which really sucks because he should have already had a D-pointed All-NBA first team on his resume. But don't worry, he's going to rack up a lot more of those, and it starts with the insane improvement that he showed just in his second season. For the Raptors, I'm going to go with Ochai Agbaji, who's just become a really solid all-around wing for this team. 10 points per game, 39% from the outside, just under 4 boards, 1.6 assists. All those numbers are career highs across the board. More efficient than ever. I feel like he's been one of the better defenders on the Raptors this season too. And yeah, he's just really starting to come into his own as this do-it-all, really solid two-way wing that people kind of saw him as coming into the NBA draft. For the Utah Jazz, I'm going to go with Bryce Sensabaugh, who's playing just a little bit more minutes than he played last season, albeit in a lot more games, but he's just been way better in his run. 10.1 points up from 7.5, 47% from the field up from 39, 42.1% from the outside up from 29.6. He's been a really efficient bucket getter for this team. Just had 17 on 5 of 5 shooting from the three-point line against the Rockets a couple of days ago. He's really solid. I mean, the defense definitely leaves a lot to be desired, but for a 21-year-old guy playing on a rebuilding team, he's been really efficient. He's been a big-time offensive punch, and that's kind of what they were expecting when they drafted him. I'm still really excited about the upside that he shows on that end. And finally, for the Wizards, I'm going to go with Justin Champagnie, who's been a really fun story this season as just a solid role player. He doesn't get as much shine as like the Alex Sars or the Bub Carringtons or the Jordan Pooles, like the kind of cornerstone guys or the guys that the Wizards are hopeful are going to be cornerstones. But he's just a really good role player. You need these types of guys when you're filling out your rebuild, guys that aren't going to be your top tier franchise cornerstones, but are going to give you a lot of good production alongside those players. In Champagnie feels like that exact type of guy, almost 50% from the field, 37% from the outside, just under 38% at that, has been a really solid defensive player on the wing. Yeah, in the 20 minutes per game that he's been giving them, just been really solid on both sides. And yeah, with all that being said, that's the most improved player in my opinion on every team this season. I'd love to hear down below in the comments what you think of my pick for your favorite squad. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And if you do disagree, tell me who you would rather have and why. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed these every team videos. Take me a really long time to record. There are a lot it takes involved. I've been recording for over an hour at this point. It takes a lot of time to edit because they're usually some of the longer videos, so your support would definitely be appreciated. If you want to see other every team videos, let me know what kind of other topics you'd like to see me cover in this format. But yeah, I appreciate you watching as always. I'll see y'all later. Real one, say it back.